Good evening. We'll call the Hawarden, Iowa City Council to order on Wednesday, June 27th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council and staff. We'll start with the standard agenda items. Number 1A, the approval of the June 13th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis,
Excellent.
seconded by Tim. Any questions or clarifications? All in favor then of the approval of the June 13th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 1B is approval of the claims for payment for today, and we'll start to my left with Rob for questions, please.
No question.
Jen, questions?
No questions.
John?
None, thanks.
Okay, Travis?
None, thank you.
Okay, Tim? Okay.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Tim for claims for payment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor then of the June 27th, 2018 claims for payment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 1C, open business from the community.
Hi, I'm Shelley Reese. I have a property at 1900 Avenue H. That's the cul-de-sac up there in Hills Addition. The house does not have a gas line to it, and I would like to request you guys look into the possibility of adding a gas line. The house behind me, kitty corner, is Dennis Denny Eisma. He does have gas, and our backyards meet kitty corner at the corners, so I'm hoping that maybe if there's not a closer line that we can be tapped off of that line. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have staff gather some information in that regard and get back to us at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Very short mayor's report. We appreciate everyone working on keeping their properties looking nice. It's great to drive around and see the improvements in property maintenance. July 7th is the car show at Callao Village. This is another opportunity to experience the great buildings and the setting at Callao Village. I'm trusting tonight that Joni Livingston will be available to present Tom his award from the American Public Power Association. Tom, we're really proud of you and the service you've provided to the community. I think Joni has a larger presentation than that. If she does not come with that information, I'll backfill from the American Public Power Association website information. And again, thanks for the last meeting to the staff and council members for their thoughts and their conversations during the planning session. I thought that was very helpful as we move the community forward here in Hawarden. We'll move on then to council comments, please. Hearing none, we'll move then to staff reports. Pam, the money lady.
Yes, I am just finishing up the end of the fiscal year business and getting ready for the new fiscal year business. So it's been pretty busy.
So then that Beamer will be paid out of this fiscal year then?
I'm not sure yet.
That figured out. I've had that picture for a long time on my desk. That'll get out, won't it? Don't write that, Katie. Tom, please.
With the flooding that started last week, we had a visit from Nate Huizenga, the county's emergency management coordinator, about the sandbag inventory we're storing. We have approximately 120,000 sandbags in our Quonset, and they belong to us and the county. But usually whoever needs them has them available. We also have sheet plastic, and we have sand on hand and sand available from LG Everts as much as we need. We're keeping the skid loader and the Quonset in that area open so that if we need them or if anybody else needs those sandbags, they can be loaded quickly on a trailer and moved to a site. We have a sandbag filling apparatus that's kind of handy for doing that type of thing too. So up to this point, we've not had to use anything. We have used some barricades to close a few roads. We were contacted by Julie Sievers from the Iowa DNR about the flooding and the potential impact that the floodwaters or the oil spill up in the dune area could have on our well fields. And so far, we have not seen any oil down this way. I'm not sure if anybody else has or not, but we're keeping an eye on it, and they're trying to keep us updated, and they want to know immediately if it is in this area. So, and for all the parents or adults, if you see any children in the floodwaters, which include the city park, please keep them out of these areas. This water is not clean and should not be entered for any reason. It's filthy. So please help us out with that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We're blessed not to experience a lot of problems here. Drinking well waters, any of that?
We're in great shape
Difficult.
right now.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a
Right.
good question.
yes.
If somebody does see oil, do they call the city? Or is
Yes,
that?
if they'd let us know,
where they-
we'll get a hold of the DNR right away. And
Okay,
they want to know if it's in the area where it's traveling to. And
okay.
I think they have some booms out there trying to collect
Yeah.
it in spots, and I think they've contained quite a bit of it, so. I don't know if Rock Valley's seen a lot of it or not.
We've seen it on some of our areas up by Rock Valley.
Okay.
So, something that, we haven't seen it down here, but when the water goes down, we might see it
Yeah.
on the trees or in the ditches or whatever that way, so.
Bad stuff.
I was gonna say one thing,
Yes.
not really city council or whatever, but, the South Pit or the Big Sioux Rec area will be closed this weekend, due to the high waters. Also, there won't be any swimming out there until we get the water tested, so just so everybody is clear on that, so.
Thank you. Mike DeBryan.
You know, along the lines of the flooding, we had been in contact throughout the weekend with the National Weather Service and their predictions. And actually, we have several places in town where we can monitor the height of the water. The problem with the National Weather Service is they always measured off the West Bridge, and then they went to the North Bridge in January, and there's a height difference. Originally was told it was 4 feet, and then was told it was 5.5, but I know we had a height difference of 7 feet at one time. So we're not exactly sure where that is, but with the landmarks we have in town, and one of them being off Cars Landing, the old pillars hanging out there, so we were able to monitor it that way. There was a great communication between the city employees, ambulance director, Sioux County Emergency Management, Sioux County Conservation, and the public, keeping us informed on where the water was coming up. Also, I want to thank the individuals from out in the county that offered up their trucks and loaders and things like that if we had a case where we had to quick do some sandbagging or some filling of sand. So we're fairly fortunate when you look at some of the other communities. I think we got through it okay. There's a little inconvenience with the bridges being closed down, but and you know, the South Pit Rec area really got hit pretty good, so we'll do what we can to help them with that also. Moving on to the junk pile, it's getting down there, and we may think it's a long time, but I was looking through some of the files. Last year in July, the city wrote Independence Waste a letter stating that they still haven't cleaned up the junk pile, and they needed to get moving on that, so we're about right on time. The housing study, I sent the council a housing study done in 2003 by Main Street, Iowa, that I found. So they are willing to come and do another one, but not until next spring. So if you guys can get a chance to look at that and then give me your input on whether you think enough has changed that we need a new study, let me know. Otherwise, there is some useful stuff in the old study. So lastly, At the next meeting, I will be on vacation, so I will not be here, but Tom will fill in very well for me. He didn't know that.
I wanted to.
All right, done?
No.
Done.
All right, thank you. Corey?
Let's talk fireworks. I'm just going to read verbatim off of a little sheet I prepared for this. With Independence Day approaching, we would like to remind everyone that the discharge of fireworks will be allowed to celebrate the 4th of July. Hawarden City Ordinance 698 reminds us of the rules that go with the discharge of these consumer fireworks. The dates to lawfully discharge the fireworks are June 28th through July 4th, and the time frame is from noon until 10 p.m., with the exception of the 4th of July. It's extended till 11 p.m. Some of the rules that everybody needs to remember so we don't ruin it is any Class C or DOT 1.4 consumer firework required the person to be over the age of 18 to discharge those, or with direct parental supervision. Not a note from mom that says it's okay. Mom or dad need to be right there with you if you are discharging them. We don't allow them to be discharged upon any public property, school property, the streets, alleyways, or any other non-private property within the city. If you are discharging them, they must be on private property with written consent of the owner, or you can have verbal consent of the owner if the owner is actually there. So keep that in mind as well. Fireworks must not be discharged by persons under the influence of any alcoholic beverages or other substances that would lead to any signs of impairment. It's unlawful to alter or remove any of the fireworks, differing it from its intended use. I know YouTube is notorious for trying to teach people different things to do with fireworks. Just don't do them. Use them as they're intended. Persons discharging fireworks assume all responsibility for their operation and the consequences thereof. And no one shall discharge fireworks in a reckless manner or in a manner likely to cause death, injury, fire, or property damage. Remember, this is a privilege to shoot off the fireworks within the city of Hawarden, and it's allowed to help the residents celebrate our independence. Be responsible and not allow anyone to ruin this privilege for others. If you'd like to read more about the Ordinance 698, you can go to the cityofhawarden.com website, click the City Government tab, then click Ordinances, and click on the hyperlink Ordinance 698 for everything else there is to know about it.
So that alcohol is zero tolerance, or?
It's not zero tolerance. You know, obviously having an adult beverage on the 4th of July and shooting off a bottle rocket, that's one thing. But if we get called to it and you can't stand up and it's happening in a reckless manner, I mean, obviously we're going to have a different opinion than that individual. We just want it to be safe. We don't want people to get hit with anything that's flying or cause a fire or anything like that. So we just ask everybody to be responsible. We want everybody to enjoy the 4th and have a good time. We just, don't want them to ruin it for anybody else.
Okay, thank you for that. Jim, anything from city?
No, I don't have, I don't have anything, just, I think he stated the ordinance correctly.
Okay. When that just last year we started all of that, wasn't it?
Yes.
With the state and everything, so, good. Keep it safe, that's our hopes. Any other questions for staff? Okay, we'll move on to other agenda items, number 3. This would be the resolution 2018-21. This is authorizing the annual final appropriation for Coilcraft. If you remember, and we are very thankful for their 20,000 square foot expansion they did 5 years ago. And this will be the final appropriation in regards to that resolution 2018-21. Is there a motion for the resolution?
So moved.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Questions or clarifications with this resolution? Hearing none, we'll call then for a roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2018-21.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Kurth.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2018-21. And again, our thanks to Coilcraft for their expansion back then, and obviously to Coilcraft for everything they do for our community. They are a great asset to the city of Hawarden. Joni, welcome. Just in time. We're glad you are here. We are now at agenda item number 4. This would be a presentation by Joni Livingston of Missouri River Energy, and then a presentation of an award to Tom Kane. Thanks for being with us. Did you
Thank you so
swim
much.
upstream or whatever? You got it.
Yes, I apologize for being late. First, I didn't take into account all the construction on I-29, and then I didn't realize that the road was closed, and so I even had to wave down a car and figure out how to get here on the back roads.
Back roads are difficult here. We'll get you home. You bet.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. Missouri River Energy and Hawarden have been partners for about 42 years. I think that you guys joined Missouri River Energy Services in 1976. And just to kind of give you a little overview of what our partnership is all about, Missouri River Energy is a joint action agency. And what that means is that we were formed by our members, in fact, formed by a group of Iowa municipal utilities, and I'm not sure if Hawarden was in that first mix or not, but we were formed by our members and we're owned by our members. We have a very similar structure to you. We are not-for-profit, just like Hawarden Municipal Utilities is not-for-profit. Our core purpose is to enhance the value of our members to their customers and their communities. So that is why we are formed, and that's what we're all about. And the idea of joint action is that a group of utilities can get together and do things together in a more cost-effective way, and maybe do things that you couldn't do on your own, working together with, right now it's 61 members of MRES. We just got our 61st member earlier this year, so we're excited about that. Hawarden right now receives about 79% of your power from the Western Area Power Administration, which comes from the dams on the Missouri River, so it's hydropower. And that was our first task, is to help members get an allocation of that hydropower from the dams on the Missouri River. And it's still a really big part of our job to advocate for our members with WAPA. So we help with contract negotiations, and we also do a lot of legislative advocacy, because it seems like the federal government every few years decides that they think WAPA should be sold, or the latest was that their transmission assets should be sold, or that the rates should be governed by the market rather than by your contracts. And in fact, you guys just re-upped your contracts a couple of years ago, would you say, Tom? And now you have a 50-year contract with WAPA. And we try to advocate to make sure that they don't change the terms of that contract. So about 21% of your power comes from Missouri River Energy, and we have a number of resources. Our largest resource is the coal plant out in Wheatland, Wyoming. But we're very excited about building what we're calling the Red Rock Hydroelectric Project over by Pella, Iowa. And that project right now is about 80% finished. I think it's 80% on paper. It's not actually going to go commercial until the beginning of 2020. So we've got another year and a half to 2 years of construction on that. But very exciting. It means another renewable resource in our mix, along with a lot of wind and a little bit of solar. So one of the things that you guys can be really proud of here in Hawarden is that over 80% of the power you provide to your customers is renewable power. So either hydropower, wind, or a tiny bit of solar in there. So that is something that you guys can really be proud of. One of the one of the things that you guys did, I believe the beginning of 2017, is you extended your contract with Missouri River Energy. We came out and we needed to change some of the terms anyway because the way the markets work now, our contract language was no longer correct. But we also ask you to extend your term of your contract 11 years. And now it goes out to 2057. So these are really long-term contracts. But what that does is it helps us do our financing, like financing for the Red Rock Hydro Project. We can do that. We get a better credit rating because of these long-term contracts, and we get much better interest rates. And just this week, we had a bond sale. In fact, we did a press release on it yesterday or Tuesday, I believe. So we got the lowest interest rate in the history of Missouri River Energy. We got a 3.88% interest rate. And that is largely due to the long-term contracts we have with you and the financial stability of all of our members. So thank you for extending, and it's going to save Missouri River and all of you a lot of money in the long run on paying off the Red Rock Hydro Project. One of the other things that we have expanded over the years is our offering of other energy services. And so in addition to WAPA advocacy and other advocacy at the state and federal legislative and regulatory areas, we're always watching out for, things regulations that might change or legislation that might change that would adversely affect our members. And we've got lobbyists in each of our 4 states and also in Wyoming where we have our coal plant. So we're always trying to keep you guys up to date on that, and also, talking to the legislators, talking to regulators, and explaining why things are good for municipal utilities or not. We've also added a number of things that you guys take advantage of in the last 10 years or so. One of those is the Bright Energy Solutions program, which is that energy efficiency rebate program for your customers. And I know that Ken Winter is the representative who works quite often with Tom. And I know that he's been talking, I believe, to your school system and to Coilcraft about some projects that they have in mind. So always trying to help businesses, help their bottom line, help them be more efficient, help them use energy wisely. A couple of the other things that I'll mention are our rate studies. We try to provide advice and services to help you determine cost of service and make sure that your rates are set to recover enough revenue to cover all of your costs. And I don't think we've done a rate study here for a number of years, but just wanted to throw out that that's available. Something that you do participate in is our coordinated demand response program. So that is the load management that you do to try to keep your costs down, especially in the summer or in the winter when everybody's using electricity at the same time. We're expanding that into a metering, a hosted metering system, which is advanced metering infrastructure. It's called AMI. And now we're looking at other smart grid technologies like outage management support and a customer portal. So those will be things that you'll be hearing about. In fact, we're hoping to make a decision on those smart grid technologies in August and hopefully have them available by the beginning of next year. And then one other thing that is new this year is what we're calling our Value of Public Power campaign. Our board of directors, at their strategic planning meeting last year, one of the things they talked about is how customer demographics are changing, and customers in general, this is was a study done across the United States, customers in general don't know that they have a public power utility. It's a municipal utility. And if they do know that, they don't really know what it means. I don't guess we've told our story well enough over the last few years, and they're kind of losing that. So we're now coming out with a quarterly marketing campaign with all kinds of materials that you can use in whatever works best in your community. So traditional bill stuffers and newspaper ads and radio ads, but also we're focusing on a lot of really no-cost or low-cost things, like things you could do on social media or on your website or on your local cable station, to kind of re-educate customers about the value that your utility brings to them and why it's good to have a public power utility in Hawarden. So those marketing materials are free. You just need to decide how you want to use them. So that's all I really had kind of prepared. We have a lot of other services, but I don't want to bore you with all the whole list. So, does anybody have any questions? We just really appreciate Hawarden being a member, and you've been a great supporter. Tom has been wonderful to work with over the years, and Gary as well, and Pam as well. So we just love working with you guys, and we really thank you for being a member. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Go ahead. Questions?
I don't.
You're,
All right, well then, I have the great honor of representing the American Public Power Association, who is our national organization, and Missouri River Energy, in presenting to Tom Kane the Larry Hobart 7 Hats Award. So let me just tell you a little bit about this. This is an award for small utilities with meters under 2,500 meters, where, one person like Tom may have to wear 7 hats and do a number of roles. And to win this award, they need to be responsible for areas of planning and design, administration, public relations, field supervision, accounting, human resources, and community leadership. And we know that Tom fits the bill on all of these. Some of the things that were written up in the award was that Tom helped convert the utility's overhead distribution system to an underground system. He helped to plan and design Hawarden Utilities' telecommunication system. And he's described by employees, his fellow employees, as the face of Hawarden. And he keeps his community well informed using the web, social, and traditional media. He works closely with the city administrator and finance officer to keep projects on budget, and he supervises more than 20 employees and instills a great work ethic and passion for the community in each of them. And he's active in community service and in his church. So Tom, with that, if you would come up, I am so happy to present you with this award. All right, thank you so much.
thank you, Joni. Tom, the podium is open if you'd like to have an acceptance speech.
I'm a little overwhelmed. Thank you.
We are too, and just so the council and everyone else knows, this was to be presented at the national conference, and I don't think it was Pam that said it was going to cost too much money. It was Tom that said it was going to cost too much
Because I
money for me to
couldn't
go
go.
down and just to get this award. So always cognizant of the budget at City of Hawarden. So thank you so much, and we see you all the time walking out in the streets, picking up trash and scooping things into the pickup, so well-deserved. This moves us into agenda item number 5, Resolution 2018-22. This would be setting the date of July 25th, 2018 for the public hearing on an urban renewal plan amendment for Eisma property. That's been in your packet. Do you want to give any overview of that, Mike? This just sets the public hearing for this.
Yes, what this does is every time we have a tax rebate agreement, we have to amend our urban renewal plan to include that particular person. So this is just setting a public hearing to amend our plan. Notification has been sent out to the school and the county. We have a meeting date set up if they choose to attend, where myself will be there, and then they can come and get information on it. So we need to pass this, and then in 4 weeks, at the second meeting in July, we will actually have the public hearing. So we have to give 4 weeks in between, so.
So moved.
Been moved by Travis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Call for a roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2018-22.
Kurth?
Aye.
Olson?
Aye.
Bergsma?
Aye.
Clucky?
Aye.
Feldhacker?
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2018-22 passes. One consent agenda, request from the Hawarden Fraternal Order of Eagles for renewal of a Class C liquor license, liquor, beer, wine, outdoor service, and Sunday sales. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. As you know, our next regular stated meeting will be July 11th, 2018. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Move.
Moved by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Tony, thanks again for being with us. Hawarden City Council is adjourned.